Hello everyone, today we are starting with our assumption. So now let's study what is assumption. So in this case what happens is that it is a statement that is not mentioned in the passage. Okay, you have to assume it, or you can say that it is a gap between premise or conclusion. So now let's write some key pointers in this. So the first key pointer is that you have assumed the statement, and the second one is that it is not mentioned, or you can say it is unstated. And then you can say it is the gap between premise and conclusion. The next one is that it has to be mandatory true. Next one is that it is general statement. So these are the key pointers over here. So now let's see the example. So you can see that all dogs are mammals. Therefore, my pet is a mammal. So over here you can see what is the assumption. So the assumption over here is that my pet is a dog. So you can see over here that over here this statement is not mentioned, but we have assumed the statement. So over here we have one note. So the first one is that when option chosen reverse it, and then see that does it void the conclusion, then the statement will be assumption. Then assumption is correct. So now let's see. Okay, so this statement says that if you have chosen some option and you want to know that you have chosen the correct assumption or not, so you can do one thing, that you can change the sentence. If it is in positive way, then convert it into negative way, and see that if it voids the conclusion, then your assumption is correct. And second point is, if there is some comparison question, then assume everything else is same. If there is some comparison question, then you can see that you have to assume everything else as same if they are not mentioned in the passage. So there are some key pointers to identify correct answer. So the first one is supporter or defender. First you can write all the pointers, then I will explain you. Then the second one is should be linked and fill logical gap. Third one is it should be related to the passage. The next one is no matter if it is not true in real. Next one is it should be same and not similar. So now let's see, okay? So the first pointer says that the statement that you have chosen as correct answer should either be in supporting or should be against the passage. And second one is that you have to not assume anything that is not related to the passage. You have to choose the answers according to the passage. And the third one is says the same, that it should be related to the passage. You have to not choose anything beyond the passage. And you can see that there are some statements that are not true in our real life, but according to the passage, it is true. So you can go for that statement. Okay, over here you can see that same and similar. Similar over here refers to synonyms. So if you are seeing that there are some words that are mentioned in the passage and in the option, then that will be correct. But if you see that there is different word in the passage and its synonym is given in the option, that statement will be wrong. So now if you want to see that your statement that you have chosen is wrong, so how you can identify? So the first one is it is opposite. Second one is shell game answer, or you can say it is out of scope. Out of scope. So first let's understand this too. So where opposite means that the passage is saying something else and the option is saying something else. So that answer will be wrong. And over here shell game answer means similar words. You can say similar words over here if they are given synonyms. So now let's see for outer scope. The first one is wrong tone in answer. Second one is irrelevant information. And third one is assumption must be true. And you can say that comparison is always wrong. Next one is if words like each, any, only, all, every, why, what, these, therefore, but, definitely, and certainly, then in this case you can see that assumption is false. One more pointer is suggestions are wrong. So now let's understand it. So wrong tone in answer over here refers is that there is some different tone in the passage and in the option there is some different tone. And irrelevant information over here refers to that in the option there are statements that is not connected to the passage. So that will be wrong. Over here assumption has to be true. It cannot be false. And if there is something in the option that is related to that they are comparing two things, then that will be wrong. And if there are words like each, these all are mentioned, then you can say that assumption over here is false. And if there are some suggestion given in the option, then that has to be wrong. You can see that if in the option you have been given some suggestion or if there is some advice given in the option, then that option has to be considered as wrong. So now let's see what are the questions given to identify the assumption. So the first question is what is the implicit assumption? Second one is what is the correct assumption? Third one is what is the hidden premise? Fourth one is what is the hidden assumption? Next one is what must be true in order to in order to conclusion be true. Implicit assumption, correct assumption, hidden premise, hidden assumption, true in order to conclusion be true. You all can see, if you all find these all words, then you have to find the assumption in the question. Hope so the video was helpful. Thank you so much.